Welcome back to 101 Sports. I'm now joined by Alex Rosenbaum and Ryan Balick to talk some NBA basketball. So guys, obviously the NBA trade deadline has come and gone with a lot of, I guess you could say, hope and a lot of talk as to what might have been. Now I want to start off with what was the worst trade deadline move. So Rosie, what do you got?
This may have been the most peculiar deadline that I have ever seen in the NBA. There's really strange moves. One of them that
a lot of mind ball.
The JaVale trade with the Nuggets, I didn't understand. That's not my worst though, because that has upside on both sides of the trade. The worst is the Nets trading for Gerald Wallace, and this is why they gave up 2 injured players. Which why does Portland want that? And then they gave up a
they helped build a team. The injured players, definitely.
I guess. And then they give up the Nets give up a first-round pick that is only top 3 protected. That means they could still have the worst record, lose the lottery, and not still have that pick.
It literally makes no sense at all.
There's no building. Gerald Wallace will probably opt out at the end of this year because he's a player option. It doesn't make any sense.
Wallace
has losing everyone.
Wallace has been playing well in his first couple games in New Jersey, which I like, and I love Gerald Wallace being from Charlotte. Gotta love Charlotte Bobcat native. Of
course.
But I'm going with the Warriors here. They just did a whole lot of mind-boggling brain scratchers. They traded Monte Ellis, who's having a pretty good season, and he's been carrying the Warriors because Stephen Curry has been so on and off with the injury, for Steven Jackson, who they traded for TJ Ford, who just retired. And got Richard Jefferson, who has been irrelevant for the last couple of years.
There's a reason.
And don't forget they got Andrew Bogut, the big piece of the trade, who's played 12 games this season. Are you kidding?
There's a reason their owner gets booed.
Prone.
Yeah.
There's a reason their owner gets booed in their own.
Exactly.
In their
The fans sure loved that night. Oh my goodness.
This is very true. Now, as I mentioned, the trade deadline has come and gone. We want to focus on some contenders and pretenders. Play that game. Now, we're going to focus on 4 teams: the Lakers, the Clippers, the Magic, and the Pacers. So, Ryan, I want to kick it off to you. Who are your contenders?
All right, well, of those teams, definitely the top contender is the Lakers. When they have the experience, they made a great trade getting Ramon Sessions.
Absolutely.
Getting rid of Derek Fisher is a bummer because he's been there for so long and he has a lot of experience. But Ramon Sessions, has a huge upside. He's a great distributor. Big addition for the Lakers. Now I think they can make a run. The Magic, I still believe, can be contenders if they get hot. They shoot 38% as a team from the three-point line, and they have Dwight Howard, who is a monster.
We'll address the Magic later. I agree with the Lakers for 3 reasons. One, Kobe Bean Bryant is still one of the top closers in the league.
Kobe Bean Bryant is still Kobe Bean Bryant.
He's still Kobe Bean Bryant. I know that there's a little issue with him and his coach, but that team is still winning close games. They've won 7 of the 11 games that have been decided by 3 points or less, and that's really important in the playoffs.
And they win at home.
And they have Pau Gasol and Andrew Bynum, something that no other team can really match up with. If Pau gets hot during the playoffs, which I'm not saying he will, they can contend.
And we know he can get hot too.
That's still a can, not a will.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You have to like the move. I agree with the Lakers. It's a great move, and it's already played dividends so far. Now, we want to switch it over to pretender. So, Alex, what do you got?
I mean, I was very tempted to say all these teams are pretenders because there's really only 5 teams that can contend, and that's the Thunder, the Spurs, and the Mavericks out west, just because the Mavericks are the returning champions, and then the Bulls and the Heat in the East. The reason the Magic are really questionable for me is, one, they're a one-trick pony with Dwight Howard, and if you can shut him down, that team goes down fast. Second of all, they have a losing record against teams above 500. They're 11-15 right now. Every single team in the playoffs is going to be 500 or better, and that does not fare well. They'll probably get a tough 6 matchup with Boston, and I don't know that they can beat Boston. And even if they beat them, there's no chance
the Magic are going to have a really tough road to win. I'm just saying if they have the potential to get hot, if the three-point shooters get hot, if Ryan Anderson pops off for 30 a night, if JJ Redick somehow gets, they have the potential. I'm not saying there's a great chance, but there is a hope.
That gives them the potential to win a series, though. Yes, definitely. Not multiple series. They
probably can't hold it up for the playoffs. I mean, through the entire playoffs, but we'll see. The Clippers and Pacers, though, the Clippers,
throw them out.
Unbelievable. This team had so much potential going into the season. Everybody was like, oh, the Clippers, let's just throw alley-oops the entire time. Hello, that does not work in the fourth quarter. You cannot run all day. That's why the Heat did not win. And they can't expect DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin to be the huge contributors on alley-oops all day.
My slight issue with them is the loss of Billups. That's tough. And the Pacers, again, like the Magic, losing records against top teams above 500. And they don't really have a star go-to player, so that's always tough.
Danny Granger is not clutch enough in the fourth quarter for them to be their main guy going for a long run in the playoffs. Not going to happen.
Well, as for pretenders, I certainly can see why the Magic were such a hot topic. I couldn't agree anymore. In my opinion, they certainly are pretenders. We need to take a quick timeout, but when one-on-one returns, Greg will be back with our college basketball experts to break down the Final Four. We'll be right back.